Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for another match of the round of 16. There are only two men's matches to go till we know exactly how the quarterfinals are set. This game, Fiji versus Wales. All we know from this game is one, it's going to be an epic contest, and then also the winner faces Samoa. So it's just not going to be an easy game. My voice starting to struggle a little bit. We have been doing the commentary for a majority of the days for the Commonwealth Games, or sorry, not the Commonwealth Games, the Rugby Sevens World Cup. But looking through at the starting lineups and reserves for both of these sides, Fiji, they have gone with Josefa Talatholo, Joshua Vakunarabili, Sivu Muthirathangi, and then it will be Viwa Narawalo, Kiminelli Rasaku. He was fantastic in the LA7, so I'm glad to see that he gets a starting spot. Jerry Tawai, very experienced individual, and then Waisia Nathunu is there as the last man in the Fijian starting lineup. Then for Wales, it will be Tom Brown, Callum Carson, Morgan Sanialski, Cole Swanick, Iwan Rosa, Morgan Williams, and Luke Trahan. We have got there in the chat, Fiji 27, Wales 5, Fiji 40 to the 7 of Wales, and let's go Fiji from Nasal. But speaking of the Fijians, the women's Fijiana side, their game is actually going to be one of the quarterfinal matches. They are waiting to find out who their opponents are. That is the next game we are covering on the channel, and it is France versus South Africa. So the Fijiana women's side are through to the quarters. The men's quarterfinal could be just around the corner for the Fijians, but pretty much they face off against Samoa. The rest of the quarterfinal matches are almost already set. New Zealand play Argentina. South Africa, they are going to be facing off against Ireland if they beat their game, or if they win their game up against Chile. France versus Australia. And this one to decide, how do we always play Fiji in the sevens, says Fleshin. Just lucky, I guess, or unlucky, I guess you could say. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's going to be a quarterfinal match between Samoa and Fiji, though. I would have loved to see that further down the line. Thank you for the update, bruh. Says Nasal, no worries at all. Hope you are doing very well. Hope you're excited. Currently 4 a.m. here in New Zealand, and this match is only 2 minutes away. But looking through at the women's side of things, we know New Zealand have now qualified. They are going to be taking on Ireland. England versus Australia is one of the other matches, and USA versus Canada. So quite a few epic contests coming up. We will be covering a majority of them on the Sevens. The Cape Town Sevens has certainly been a fun atmosphere. We see people dressed in all sorts of attire at the ground, but the weather has been beautiful throughout the whole day. Hardly a cloud in the sky. That man is dressed as the English cricket team, I believe. And also, damn, 9 a.m. here. Says that Nasal and there as well. But now these two sides about to make their way out onto the park. Some huge subs could be used by the Fijians later on. Matana, Tanakaivata, sorry. Also, Saturanga, Bokayaro, and Osefu Masi. Then for Wales, you'd have to say the best option for them is Owen Jenkins. When he comes off the bench, he can make an impact, and he will certainly need it. In this contest, hang on, the game hasn't even started, and you've got us beat, says Flesh in there. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. Wales, the thing is, if they play like we know Wales can, they could win this game. It's just whether or not they find that momentum early and whether the occasion gets them. Now, the benefit for Wales here is they have already played a game today, whereas Fiji have not. So that would benefit Wales, in my opinion, because they have got a little bit more game time. 14 extra minutes is huge when it comes to the sevens. Where's England, says Nathan. So England ended up missing out because they were beaten by Ireland. So I believe they are going to be going head-to-head with one of the other teams. I think it might be Portugal or someone along those lines that they have got into the match for the English. But the two sides waiting in the tunnel, waiting for those doors at Cape Town Stadium to open and the boys to get out there onto the park. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, because we are going to be covering all the matches that we physically can. We won't find any rhythm, says Fleshin, and I think that is the big thing for them. If they can find that momentum early, can get a little bit of something going, working together, chemistry so important. They've got a good lineup. You know, you're looking at Morgan Williams, Trahan, also in there, Tom Brown. I think those three, if they can link up the way that we normally see some of these Fijians, could be a very close game, but they've got to keep it close. At halftime, Wales cannot be down by any more than 7. If they are, I would say it would be close to game over heading into the second. But now we are ready to rumble. I see that Lloyd Lewis isn't actually in the Welsh side, and he is the one who I've got in my thumbnail. And Rome has said love in the commentary. By the way, thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. And yeah, we've got plenty more coming for these matches from all of the Sevens World Cup. Definitely the men, definitely the women, definitely all of the finals fixtures. Wales need to smash it out from the get-go. Exactly right. Tosaveti Fiji says nasal. So now this game just about to get underway, and I don't know who I back, says Gareth in there. I guess theoretically, the match that everyone wanted to see before it took place for this whole competition was they wanted to see a South Africa versus Fiji grand final. So theoretically, for that to happen, you would want Fiji to win. But Fleshan may think otherwise. It's going to be kicking off now, just travelling the 10, and Wales have got themselves possession from the get-go. Nice work. And it's going to be Morgan Sanowalski having that ball. Nice bit of step in here from Wales. And like I mentioned, they've already had one game today, going through close to the line, 5 metres out, looking for the offload up. It's gone to Trahan, who's got the man on his outside. Bulldozing forward, that was Tom Brown. Now, ball off. This is going to be a Welsh try. Did he get it down? I think he did. I think he touched that one halfway. And all you need is just a little touch over the line. That might be the first try of the match, and it may have just gone to the Welsh. And Fiji about to smoke him, says Rome. And go Wales, get Fiji out of this tournament, says Gareth, and try Wales. Says Nathan, right, they want to have a look at this. But Fiji not touching the ball as of yet. And Wales working very nicely in the early stages in the try. Wales, says Nathan, right. Did he get this down? This is going to be the angle that shows that there may be a boot involved. I think that's down. I think Wales have got the first try of this contest in the first 30 seconds. And Wales take the lead 5-0. And let's go, my guy, again, Wales, says Nathan in there as well. But yeah, Morgan Williams manages to score himself the first try. Now it will be Luke Trahan lining up this kick. Every point is crucial, and he's not getting those two. So he has drifted away to the left. So a very good start to the match for Wales. Exactly what we said they needed to do. Come out firing. And they have done just that. And now Fiji will be put on the back foot. And my comment still stands. If Wales find themselves less than 7 behind at halftime, they can still have a chance of going on and winning this contest. Any more than 7 behind, though, maybe just a little bit too much to be able to catch up. Definitely against the Fijian side. Oh, Talatholon, beautifully taken now off to Kamanali Rasaku, the double fend. And that's going to be the try for Fiji. Now, this game is being played at a bit of a frantic pace. And also tackle a man, and Fiji hasn't started as yet, says Ravind. And still 13 minutes and 30 seconds left. Good start for Wales, says Nazo. And now the fire back from Fiji. Kamanali Rasaku, he was absolutely sensational, like I mentioned, throughout the Los Angeles Sevens. He was absolutely everywhere. And it's a big fend breaking through. Kamanali Rasaku take a bow. He's just got the Fijians back into the game. Kisses the ball, puts it down. Right, this will be an important kick. So, Nathunu. Oh, it's just gone short for Nathunu. So both sides sitting at 5-all. And we're in them Aussies lurking, says Gareth. And there's, Australia, they're going to be taking on France, I believe, in their quarterfinal fixture. Could be an interesting game. I actually thought the way that the draw was set, it was going to be Samoa versus Australia in the quarters. But I think I got it slightly wrong. Talatholon knocks the ball on. Now Wales have it back. Morgan Williams, the try scorer. Now going off to the right-hand side. Good attacking run forward. I believe that was just a battering ram carry from Ewan Rossa. Now back across. Good work from Wales. This is starting to open up a little bit. They got the big man out on the wing, who is Morgan Sanowalski, whose name I cannot say, unfortunately, but 3 minutes gone in this contest. Now Trahan, ball on the outside. It's gone forward to Rossa, though. And come on, Welsh, says Nathan. There's going to be a big mistake there from Wales. They had the back line well established. All they needed was pass after pass. Fiji, good cover defense, being able to bring themselves across. But I would say, have we had any big upsets in this competition so far? I think every side who was supposed to win has won. Other than maybe Chile came in as underdogs up against Germany, and maybe Uruguay came in as underdogs up against Hong Kong. But other than that, I think every single favourite has won in the Seven World Cup. So it does just show that everyone is playing their best rugby at the moment, wanting to make sure that they can go on and get themselves a possible world championship. Kimaneli Rasaku, brilliantly done, running it up to halfway now, but they do take it back to about 40 metres out from their own line now. Vakuna Billy, the big man tackled by Trey Hahn, tries to get back up. He's gone again, they've said. Did a roll forward. Trey Hahn takes the quick tap. Now Wales once again firing it across. It's going to be a beautiful step. This is good for Wales. Nice offload. It's going to be cleaned up by Talatholo, though. In fact, that time was actually their number 10, Saturanga. I didn't actually know that he was out on the field. Talatholo breaking through at halfway, and that is going to be another try for the Flying Fijians. And also Fiji score. Says, what are they do indeed? And it's going to be none other than Josefa Talatholo. I mentioned him a lot throughout the early stages of the competition. In fact, no, that was a video that didn't come out on the channel. I did a preview, and I talked all about our Talatholo. His legs are taller than a lot of people's whole bodies and legs combined, and he uses them brilliantly. He's got that sprinting style and just has extremely long stride. Makes his way over the try line, and also need to master one-on-one tackles when playing Fiji, says Nathan, and also trying to stop that offload, which is so impossible with Fiji because they just have their arms managed to fling out in every single direction, no matter what is happening. That one's going over, though, so now Fiji find themselves leading 12 points to 5. Good start to this match for them, firing back after Wales scoring that very first initial try and that offload, says Nathan. And there, but currently 2 tries for Fiji. Brilliantly tapped back, and that is going to be on their side. Jerry Tawai had the ball absolutely smashed at him, but Nathono now has been able to grab a nice run forward. Beautiful offload. Vakuna Billy offload to Nathono. Oh, drop cold. That was dropped by Nodovalo. That is something we really see from him at Fiji all the way, says Viniana. He's disappointed because he was just in open space. Maybe considering what he was going to be doing next. I thought it looked like he was going to go for a grubber there for half a second. But the scrum now going down. Wales have got the feed. 45 seconds left, still inside of their own half. Still second half to come, who knows? Says Nathan there. And the winner of this game will play who? They will be taking on Samoa. So a big game in the quarterfinal, Samoa. They looked very strong in their game up against the USA. Nice run forward now for Wales. Good leg drive from Ewan Rossa. He looks like a handy enough man to have out on that right wing, now fired across. I'm looking for Morgan Williams, the man who scored the first try. That looked close to forward as well. It's going to be now in the hands of Morgan Williams. Not able to go through. Flicks it back. It is going to be going back and have a double header after this try. It is indeed to South Africa. First of all, the women's, they are going to be playing up against France. Oh, late and no arms. Vakuna Billy is going to the bin for the next 2 minutes. That is a massive help for the Welsh, but no arms and late. Didn't have a lot going for it there. Yeah, no, that's just a shoulder charge. It's probably quite lucky there, Vakuna Billy, to only get the yellow because there wasn't a lot of intent in it for going for the ball. That's one, and also Bulla Viniana says Ravind, and also the yellow says Nathan, and also Bulla Ravind says Viniana. But yeah, the first game, France versus South Africa for the women's side of things, and then alongside that, it is going to be South Africa versus Chile, which should be a relatively one-sided match, but you just never know. Chile had a good game up against Germany. Maybe that is the time that they need it now. It's going to be passed. It's nicely done in the end by Rossa to get the foot to it, rather than just allowing that ball to be knocked on, finding the offload. Nathunu knocks it on now. This time it's going to be the penalty for the high shot, though. And, bro, it's not soccer my go at Welsh players, says Nathan. And welcome in, lads. Tosso. And now Bulla Ravind. What say Fiji all the way? Says Viniana. Nice work. Nadovalo offloads it back to Jerry Tuwai. Doesn't really have a lot of space there. Nice offload forward once again for Wales. They look like they are going to be dangerous, but Jerry Tuwai Finds the offload back. Now it hits the hands of the Welsh player. It's going to be a knock-on advantage. Now fired back over the top. Fiji don't want this half to end by the looks of it. They want to keep this one going for as long as physically possible. Kamanali Rasaku, that is why, because that man is an insane talent. Nathunu offloads it off now. Good work from Fiji, keeping it alive. I believe Mothinothangi was involved in the midfield. Now off to Nadovalo. He goes through, and it's another try for Fiji. Fiji should prevail minus the indiscipline. Said Ravinda Vakunarabili, last warning. Said the Viniana Nadovalo, though, he has scored that try, his first try of the Rugby Sevens World Cup. The Kimanali Rasaku, that man, I mentioned about him in LA Sevens, how he had to be a team of the tournament. Looks like he's trying to head that way this contest as well. Fun fact, this is the first time in history when England and Germany don't leave with any goal from South Africa. Sebastian? Both missing out. Germany were pretty unlucky, weren't they, in that Chile game overall? But who knows? Maybe South Africa, they will be able to keep that gold in South Africa. That one is missed. Unfortunately, now they are showing the cheerleaders. Someone's spinning flat out. That was quite impressive, actually. She was doing she was on one hand and she was just flipping. Like, I couldn't do that. I'll break my back before even doing that. I'll break my back in the warm-ups of trying to do that, I would think. But now at halftime, 17 points to 5. Now remember what I said. If Fiji were not ahead by more than 7, I felt that there was a good chance that we would see Wales still keeping this one. But it does seem now like might be a little bit out of reach unless they score the very first try. And Vanaka boys, more Fiji, says the Viniana there. Yeah, the next two games that are taking place, both South African derbies. Be able to see them play France and also Chile. And 3D Wales, 3 Ds, 1 defense, 2 drive, and 3 tackles, says Nathan. Very important, of course. Although discipline might sneak its way in there. Maybe you need a 4th D. Now Wales in the huddle, they look fired up, but Fiji, when aren't they fired up? They love the game of sevens. They know they're very good at it as well, and they want to go all the way in this one. I don't believe it's been a little while since we have seen Fiji get themselves that sounded like an angry huddle for the Fijians. But yeah, long time since we've seen them get some World Cup gold, silver, or bronze in the arsenal. So that is something that they will want coming up very soon. You only get the gold and you take the trophy home if you get first, though, and they've got a tough path to be able to do so. Like I mentioned, quarterfinal, they're going to be going head-to-head with Samoa, who are an informed tide. And the Sevens, but Nathunu about to kick this one off. Talatholo, he was pointing upwards, and he was pointing outwards, and he was pointing upwards, which I believe means he's going to jump up for that ball. It's probably going to be very hard to stop him from getting it as well if it just goes to 10. It's gone high. Going to be taken nicely by Trehan. Now, they have still only got 6 men on the field, I believe, for Fiji, although it did use up a little bit of extra time. So maybe Vakunarabili has actually, he has made his way back out there due to the extra time that we did have in that first half. Now Morgan Williams, the first try scorer for Wales. He has lost his footing. Straight over the ball, brilliantly locked in there. I believe that was none other than Jerry Tawai. He's one of those guys that you want to have in your Fijian lineup no matter what. He has huge amounts of impacts on a game of sevens. And now Nathungu trying to go through, finds the offload back to Kamanali Rasaku, who just has a way of breaking through multiple tackles in every run he does. Nathunu goes back across to Nadovalo. Now a bit of a step from Jerry Tawai. Unfortunately, the feet did get slipped out from underneath and the ball has gone loose and it's a knock-on advantage. And the scrum now for the Welsh. Tawai apologises to his teammates, although I would say it probably wasn't completely his fault. The ground did swallow him, which makes it tricky enough to be able to keep running. 6 minutes left. Now, the round of 16 is almost coming to a close. We've only got one other match, South Africa versus Chile. Then it will be confirmed. Now, those games of the quarterfinals are all actually taking place at about 5 a.m. New Zealand time tomorrow morning. So similar to this, maybe an hour later, so 25 hours time is when it is going to be taking place. We will be covering all of those games on the channel, I should mention. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe now. It will be Wales back across. My voice is once again trying to disappear. Hopefully it lasts for the last 2 matches and also the next 2 days of Rugby Sevens World Cup action. Nice step. Now offloaded up, I believe. Oh, they've said play on. No, you can't do that, ref. He was about to blow his whistle. Oh, Rasaku's been dropped. And then now it is going to be the penalty in favour of Wales. He wasn't on his feet when he played at the ball, so that is why has gone back for that one. But the referee, he went to blow it. So from there, the Welsh players all stopped moving. And then the ref said play on for half a second and then decided that he should be going back for it. Wales looking for the touchline. It's a good strike. And it has gone out inside of the 22 of Fiji. Now, Wales, if they score now, they are still in with a shot. Although those 8 missed tackles that they have had, they've only got a 33% tackling rate throughout this contest. So that is something they'll have to work on big time. And forward, brilliantly stolen by Notawalo. Beautifully done now. Will be Nathunu off into the hands of the big man. It's going to be Mothinothangi. See if you can catch him. He's bleeding from the eye. Hopefully he's going to be all right. And Wales weren't quite able to catch him. Fiji scoring Mothinothangi. That would have warmed up the hamstrings for him. I think that's one of the first times we've seen him touch the ball throughout this contest, and he has now given the crowd the thumbs up for it. Thumbs up to his teammate as well. Nicely done, Mothinothangi. He just sees the gap and goes. And once this man goes, the only thing that can really stop him is himself if his legs give out, which he was striding beautifully. Just didn't quite catch up. Ewan Rossa, he's had a good game, I feel, for Wales. You know, if there were 7 Ewan Rossas out there on the field, I think Wales would have a decent shot in this game. But because there's only 1 and 6 other players, they have been struggling just that little bit more. But it's going to be 24 points to 5 now in favour of the Fijians. Still 4 minutes left on the clock. So Fiji could find themselves in the 30-point region. He's bleeding a bit of blood. And the worst thing about it is because his kit is white, that's going to be really hard to get those stains out once they do decide to give it a wash. Luckily, he's got 25 hours to be a trial or to be able to sort out the washing powder and all sorts. Now Nathunu offload back. Bukayaro now finding the gap. Trehan with the nice low tackle. Another offload to come in there. Rasaku, he loves passing the ball to the men on his outside, and he's done just that. And Thanakai Vata now has scored the try. Jeez, he made that look easy to score like that. The thing is, he did very well. He scored the try, hit the ground, bounced back up off the shoulder and landed on his feet. And Mothinothangi more, says Viniana. And then also, by the way, got to love the Super League. Catalan Dragons are from Perpignan, France. As that the game isn't called off, found me something to watch in the evening, says Sebastian. There you go. So you've got some form of the sports. Also, should mention the top 14. You're going to be able to watch a little bit of that depending on whether or not they've got that available for you in Romania. The more I look at that dive, the more I realize how hard he actually hit the ground with that one. But like they're saying, it is an absolute joy to be able to watch the Flying Fijians in action. They always bring such an entertainment value to the game of sevens. But 2 minutes, 20 left. That kick has gone over 29 points to 5. It looks like there's a player down, though, which is something that they wouldn't want. I believe that's actually going to be the fellow who had the cut by the eye, though. The Mothinothangi, they are just waiting for him to be back up on his feet. I believe Saturanga about to kick off this one, so he has been subbed onto the field. I believe that will be for Nathunu, just because they don't want to waste him in this game when they can have him for Samoa. And the next one, Fiji warmed up, says Rome. And yeah, I've said it once and I'll say it again. The team that does get that warm-up game, playing in the pre-round of 16, I think has a real big advantage. We've seen the best of a lot of these teams who didn't get their warm-up game in the second half. They just needed a little bit more time to be able to find that momentum. That one's just gone. The 10 meters going to be knocked back by Trehan, who gets back up to his feet, goes for the kick in behind. It's going to be a foot race, but I believe there is going to be Bukayaro back there. And he has been able to do nicely. In fact, it's not Bukayaro. Instead, it was Jeremiah Matana. Now it's an advantage to Fiji. Referee considering blowing the whistle about 4 times there. Now he does. Oh, little bit of a push and a shove. Matana is just calming down the Welsh player. He's not too happy with Bukayaro. He's still talking about it. He's saying he's been punched, is he? The number 6 for Wales? Oh, and Jenkins, I think he's saying that he got sucker punched. You're going to have a look at this one. At no top 14 this evening, says Sebastian, and also Sebastian Mann Imagine Aussie bringing the footy finals weekend to a halt. These fans would be furious. Okay, we're going to reverse the penalty because it's unnecessary reactions or actions, in fact. So now Wales have got themselves a tap and they will go instead with the scrum. They've decided that that is the safer option. I think Wales are frustrated. At the end of the day, it's playoff rugby. If you get it wrong for one match, you're out of the World Cup. It is as simple as that. You still have games trying to qualify a little bit higher up in the rankings, but it's a harsh reality. This first game, I believe all of the home sides have won. Other than USA, I believe they are the only side who have been beaten. Everyone else, though, has been able to go on and get themselves the win. And by the home sides, I mean the sides who didn't have their first round, instead getting to qualify already initially. Now it's going to be another advantage to Wales. The ball over the top is loose. They will be going back for another penalty. It looks like Talatolo was running that one away, possibly strategically, taking a couple extra steps, placing the ball, uses up more time. Quite the lucky draw Dragons playing tonight and being based in France, says Sebastian. Now it's going to be Wales just a little bit out from the line. It's going to be a big tackle made on Callum Carson. Now advantage is a knock on, and now we're going to have another scrum. So this is using up plenty of time on the clock. Fiji won't be minding that. Does mean they secure themselves their spot in the quarterfinals. So, yeah, they're going to be playing Samoa. I agree with you, Hamish. It's a World Cup. They're not showing up to play footy, says Nathan. And that's why this new format of World Cup is such a hard one as well, because the old format, theoretically, if it was like the World Sevens series as well, you get put into groups. Then from there, you play your playoff or you play your group stage matches. You get 3 warm-up games, and then you're into the playoff games. Whereas in this case, you're kind of straight into it, and you just got to hope for the best, really. But that is going to be the time up in this contest, and that is going to be the end of the game. Fiji win it 29 points to 5. The next game that we are covering, ladies and gentlemen, is just around the corner. That is going to be France versus South Africa in the women's game. That is in 8 minutes' time. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Fiji, they will be going on to take on Samoa, the winner of this France versus South Africa women's game. They will be going on to face up against the Flying Fijians as well. World Cup needs group. I'm not in favor of this format, says Sebastian. Yeah, it's just, it's too rough. Like one bad game, and that's the other thing. With these sides, it's very lucky we've seen so many of those teams winning that didn't get a warm-up game. And even Sam Dixon, the captain of New Zealand, he said it's weird because you sit there watching everyone play, waiting for your turn, and then you don't get a turn. You've got to wait longer, and then you do end up going out there and pretty much throwing it all on the line in a very short amount of time. And also, to be fair, English rugby is going on tomorrow, says Fleshin, and also Fiji versus Samoa will be interesting, Vanaka Kiwi lads, says Viniana. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome match, and we will be covering it on the channel tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen. So Fiji, Samoa, France, Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, and Ireland against the winner of South Africa and Chile, which at the moment seems likely to be the Blitzbox. Definitely with that big return that they've got when they have signed Cecil Africa. A lot of points on the board for that man in the Sevens format. I'm curious to see how much of a role he plays in the squad. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.